Hello, everybody. Good evening. How are you today? I hope you have a wonderful day because tonight we have a good speaker with a very good passage of the gospel. So I'm going to sing a couple of songs and to prepare our environment. So let's get started. A good old man. Blue crystal eyes, colors of the sky, gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike, shine on your brothers on earth, suffering, living joy, or in pain. Blue crystal eyes, the color of the sky. Gray bushy beard, Santa's look alike. Shine on your brothers on earth. Suffering, living joy, or in pain. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the Good, receive our prayers and also our heart. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the Light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the Good, receive our prayers and also our hearts. Bezerra de Menezes, Apostle of the Light, place our pain at the feet of Jesus Christ. Now, song to Mother Zephyrina. Source of love that radiates, one powerful life, support and comfort, support and comfort. Cascades flow down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. For my mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings, make us lost son a good Christian, make us lost son a good Christian.
glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody's alone in life, and the stars of my destiny will be hid by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start, when the sun turns off the moonlight. We get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise, and on the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, a new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. On the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, and the new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus, and when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. And before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30-minute presentation followed by a Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will also have the spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Concafras Americas through their Facebook and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. And now we have a special invitation for those who want to learn more about Spiritism. Get to Know Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. New classes will be starting on fall, and more information will be given soon, so stay tuned. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The Gospel at Home is an effective support for you and your family spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the Gospel at Home studies meeting. By posting in the chat, you can request it. Please let us know. You are also welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of positive vibrations, incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. Please find the link in our chat. And the topic of today's meeting is the parable of the sower. Items 5 to 8 from chapter 17, Be Perfect, which will be facilitated by our brother Rod from Ottawa. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will be addressing those questions at the end of the talk. And now we would like to invite tonight's speaker that will also do our opening prayer. Welcome, Rod.
Hello, Larissa. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Very well. Thank you very much.
Okay, I see you in the end of the talk then.
Thank you. Okay, I will start with the opening prayer, as Larissa said. Let's close our eyes and elevate our thoughts. Heavenly Father, we thank you once more for the opportunity to be in here tonight, all together again, to express the word about your teachings. Today is a special day when we will talk about the parable of the sower. And we are praying because we want to be the fruitful soil that receive your words and that we can use for transformation. First, as the small seed as ourselves to grow, seeking the perfection, but also for that to be part of the life of the people that are listening. So we ask your blessings not only for ourselves, but for all those who need in the hospitals, in their homes, or suffering for homeless. Let this word inspire them for a transformation, and also as an opportunity for all of us to practice charity. So we ask your presence not only this night, but during the week and always. So be it. Okay, thank you everyone. I will just share. Okay, okay, as mentioned by Marissa, today we'll be talking about chapter 17, items 5 to 8. It's part of the chapter Be Perfect, and the main topic is the parable of the sower. And I'm using some images of the Argentinian artists George Coco Sant'Angelo uh, to show some Christians paintings with the style of Cubism. And I'm bringing the opening quote from Jesus saying, "Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect." And as we know, there is a limit for our perfection when we compare to our Heavenly Father, but there is a lot of work that we can do for ourselves. And we will find under the parable of the sower a great opportunity to learn about it and to discuss a little bit more. Okay, and the talking today starts with the item 5 when we have the presentation of this parable saying, on the same day, Jesus, having left the house, sat down close to the sea, and a large crowd of people gathering around him. Therefore he climbed into a boat and sat down while the people remained on the shore. And then we have Jesus talking like this.
Behold, the sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But other fell into good ground, and brought forth fruit. Some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who hath ears to hear, let him hear.
The perfection is all, as Christ said, in the practice of absolutely charity. But the duties of charity reach all social positions, from the smallest to the greatest. Doesn't matter your level of education, your level of financial possibilities, you have the same goal of the practice of charity. It means, and we will understand that knowledge under the lens of the types of soil that Jesus mentioned in the parable of the sower, because it's not about our social status, but it's about our capacity of receiving those teachings and not only having them from the heart, but also put in practice. In the parable of the sower, represents perfectly the nuances that exist in the ways one profits from the teachings of the gospel. Again, this is for all of us. How we deal with those teachings, how can we incorporate the knowledge in our life? How many people there are, in fact, for whom the gospel teachings are only a dead letter, which, like the seed that has fallen on the stony soil, produce no crop. Are we using the magnificent opportunity that we have every day in this incarnation to learn, to practice those teachings? What kind of crops of those knowledges are we realizing in our life? So there is a different types of soil. The hardened soil can be make the analogies for the closed-minded in resistance. They are more harder. It's difficult to produce because their mind are closed. They have resistance to put in practice or even to understand or to accept this new information. There is a rocky soil, which is superficial understanding and lack of commitment. Yes, I can apprehend some part of the information, but I'm not ready yet to commit to include that in my daily agenda. I always thinking, okay, I can do something. I can start tomorrow. I can start next week, but I'm never really doing nothing about it. Then we have the thorn soil. Worldly distractions and materialism are always preventing some actions. And again, how many distractions are we suffering right now? If you're just thinking about it, if you start taking notes of your daily actions, starting to finish, waking up to going to bed, how many hours, how your hours are being organized through your routine? How many hours are you doing to distractions that don't give you anything in return? There is no learning, there is nothing. How many hours are you giving to Jesus' teachings in your week? And that's for all of us, right? Sometimes we spend hours and hours in social media, for example, and it's not possible for us to implement a half an hour gospel at home during the entire week, or including a very short reading from the gospel according to Spiritism in every morning in our life. So this makes really hard for the fruition of Jesus' teachings in our life. But we also have the good soil, and that includes the sense of openness, receptivity, and of course that can be as a result spiritual growth, because the good soil as we can be is when we have the opportunity and we use that in our benefit. So how we see the Jesus teachings under that concept? Some see the teachings as nothing more than dead words on stony ground. Others seek spiritual communication out of curiosity. Some admire the teachings, but only apply them to others. And that's, I like to emphasize this because it's part of my life, right? I'm trying to learn, and I have a good eyes to see the opportunities of Jesus' teachings in my family's life, like in my family members' life, my friends' life, but how I'm applying that to myself in my life. That's harder because it's too easy for me to see opportunities in others people. Oh, I'm seeing here because you can change this, you can change that, but it's hard for me. And the way I think is hard for many people to see in ourselves how can we change through the Jesus teachings, all the information that we have from the gospel. And finally, some use the teachings to bear fruit and live a better life. And that's all our goals as spirits that came here with this opportunity for transformation. We know we are living a planet of trials, and parts of those trials, it's all connected to what we did in the past life for sure, but all of them, or most all of them, they are connected to this life, and we should use those opportunities for us to transform, for us to evolve. We know there is also expiation on that, but that's not under our control, right? The expiation will come, and that will be for us also a chance to practice patience, understanding, and know that that will be for only a time of our life. But the application of that knowledge, and us as a spiritist, we have a step ahead, because we can hold on the Spiritist teachings and all the extra explanation that we have for each one of the items on the gospel of Jesus, from Jesus, right? But the same way, we still suffering with some difficulties to understand, then apply those teachings. And we also can be divided, as the gospel according to Spiritism explains, under that idea of different soils, receiving this magical seed, this shining seed from Jesus, but incapable of transforming, of growing, and developing that deeply roots with the knowledge. So again, there is a lot of interest, but mostly on the physical phenomena that but derive nothing of consequences from them, because they see them as nothing more than an object of curiosity. And the phenomena of the spirituals is very attractive for many people, but it's hard to go beyond that, knowing all the work as a small seed that needs to transform itself to grow and face the difficulties of the environment, first the soil itself. And we have the same difficulty to grow inside of us the light of this gospel teachings. So the other kind of spiritists is those that own their spiritist communication, who are interested in them only to the extent that they satisfy their imagination. So I'm very curious about spirits. I want to know about past lives, future lives, but we know we need to go beyond that as well. We are not here only to live a life without acting. We need to transform ourselves. We need to use this opportunity, or we will lose a great time of our existence here. And of course, there is that one who are ready, as I told about myself, to apply that knowledge to others, but have hard difficulties to apply to themselves. Because again, it's pretty easy for me to see others see the difficulties, but it's really hard not only for myself to see my difficulties, but also to apply the changes. And that is very important, because it's the only way that we can be the good soil and transform ourselves with those teachings, and then have the results of the crops. So we always see the parable of the sower under the lens of the soil, under the lens of understand those seeds who can grow in different possibilities, facing difficulties. But I'm inviting you under the lens of Emmanuel Spirit to see that also in the position of the sower, because when Jesus tells us about it, he is giving us the attitude of someone who doesn't is not scary by the impossibilities of doing the work. The sower of the parable did not wait for a call. They simply abandoned their own convenience and went out to help. It means we see that possibilities of being part of the transformation as someone who is ready or maybe not to receive those teachings, but can we also be the one who goes beyond that and starts spreading the word? Are we ready without having to receive the call to go and starting spreading those knowledge? And Emmanuel is saying, clarify that the laborer always planted and that the scarcity of failure of the service was a problem of the benefit soil and not the arms that aimed to enrich it. It means the parable explained the different kinds of soils and the results, but also shows someone who was there to trying to plant it. Doing the work doesn't matter the difficulties. This person, this sower, continue their work, doesn't matter the results. Okay, I could not change this soil. I could not see the crops growing here, but I still doing my job. And then at the end, we saw the results coming, right? This perseverance is important because it also needs to be applied to ourselves. Maybe our time, our acting is not really working right now. Maybe we are just having one or two seeds that is it's coming to bearing fruits, but we should not lose our perseverance. We should continue. We should keep going with the acting because that will transform at some point. Not only the people around us, we will see our work, but also ourselves as a continuing possibility of transformation, of learning, because every new seed that we're trying to plant is also be a seed that we need to learn and work with. So it's important to see both sides of this parable, and then we can identify where we are as a sower or as a seed. And then we go for the item number 7 of this chapter, when we have the idea about duty. Duty is an individual's moral obligation, first toward him or herself, and then toward others immediately thereafter. So this is very important. I told you before that I'm really good and pointing fingers to others, right? And it's hard for me to point fingers to myself. But on this item, I'm learning that my duty, my moral obligation is first toward me. Well, should I first see my own problems, my own vices, work with this, and then maybe see the others? I have a big work with myself. So this is the only way that I am as a small seed planted, start my transformation, start my moving from the soil, from the deep to the heaven, right? To the highest. So duty is the law of life. It's found in the smallest details as well as in the most elevated acts. Duty can be something pretty small, a small acting that you did today, maybe a word that you says to someone who was asking for an advice, asking for help, and you were there and say the word in the right time, helping that person. can be a big act of transformation, all of them can be a great and a huge impact in someone else's life. We cannot see the results right away, but we have to keep as a sower trying to spread those seeds of good acting, of good word, of good thinking, because we know as a spiritist that it's very important that we thinking well, right? Our positive thoughts will change the entire chain of our acting, because before acting wrongly, we need to maybe speak wrongly, and before that, we need to think wrongly. It means if I can change, I may not be able to change my acting today, but if I start paying attention on that, maybe tomorrow I can. Maybe I will miss one opportunity, say, oh my gosh, I missed that opportunity of changing, but I will not do it next time. And maybe next time I will stop in the right moment of doing something wrong. And maybe 2 days after, 1 year after, I will start speaking wrongly. Before I say something, say, oh, I will not say that because I know that's not the good way to say it. I will not doing any good to that person who is in my side. So I will just be quiet. And then later, maybe not in this life, maybe in this life, we can start stopping thinking wrongly. You know, all good thoughts, all good thinking, all good ideas, and everything that comes from there will be good words, amazing attitude. That's the transformation. This is why it's so important we understand the duty. It's the work that we need to implement with ourselves. And the Spirit is saying, I want to speak here only about moral duty and not the type imposed by professions. So it's easy. Think about it. It's easy to identify the duty. It's hard, right? It's saying here it's very difficult to fulfill because it is contrary to the seductions of self-interests and the heart. It means when we look to the world, turn on your TV, your cell phone, go like around, and you see a lot of opportunities to not do your duty, right? To do the opposite, because it's contrary to the seductions. Like everything is inviting you to do something different in the opposite. It's maybe against your self-interest. And another important aspect, the victories have no witness because it's internal victory. I really love that because under this program that we have this talkings on Tuesdays and also our course, our classes on Saturdays, we have a really amazing program that is called Self-Enlightenment Program. And the Self-Enlightenment Program, it's a daily observation of ourselves with an agenda where we can take notes every day, the good and the bad that we are doing. And the good thing about it is that in the beginning is quite sad because we take a lot of notes about problems that we are doing. But later on, in doing the hard work, you will start seeing the changes. And those changes is as the spirits are seeing here without witnesses. Nobody needs to know. Is for you it's for your own internal joy, because you will face a situation that you failed before, maybe many times. And after a time of auto self observation, out understanding, and then you will can stop that, break that cycle, and they will come that you will face that situation again and you will not do the same as before. And nobody will see that because only you knows, but you'll be a great joy because you look to yourself and think, oh my gosh, I succeed on that. And but in the same side, as the spirit is saying here, its failures undergo no repression. And this is hard because we need to develop our minds, our self-analysis at the point that we start stopping and seeing the problems. Again, maybe at the beginning, we are not able to do differently, or we will start doing and failing and doing again and failing, and that's a normal process. We know as a spiritual beings that the way we are today is not only the accumulation of this present life, it's also accumulation of many previous incarnations that we have. So we cannot expect like hundreds of years of certain kind of behavior to be changed in a week or a month or maybe in a couple of years. That transformation will require more time, more dedication, and so on. But that repression must come from our minds, from our science, our conscience of that, right? We need to start paying attention. Then that will cause some internal bad feelings. Say, oh my gosh, because why I'm doing that again? I promised to myself not doing, and then and again until we will see the transformation come. And they are saying people's inner duties is left to their free will. And this is magical because we have the free will, and God will not enforce us to transform. We need to accept that as a possibility, knowing as small seeds that we are, to grow, we need to do a lot of work to reach the high size of our possibilities. It will be a daily work, receiving the nature, all the resource that is possible. But it's up to us. Doesn't matter how many words we can read, how many books we can read. It's up to us as a good soil to receive those words and then make them grow, right? Allow that information to go deep in our souls to transform our conscience. So the guardian of inner rectitude arms and upholds them, but it's held back, often powerless before a sophistry of passion. So the duties it's under our instincts, our passion. Depends on us how ready we are to transform. And in that transformation, it's part of how we are open, how we want our life open to receive and to use our time, because we have so much hours on the day, right? We don't have enough. We are all busy. We are busy with our life. We are busy with our professional life, with our education, our family. But we need to find in our daily agenda a time for those learnings, and we need to keep our eyes open to see, not only see the opportunities that as they come, but also to use them in our benefit. So, how the duty starts or ends? On the chapter, they say, the spirits explain that duty begins precisely at the point in which you're threatening your neighbor's happiness or peace of mind. It ends at the limits you would not want to see surpassed regarding yourself. So stop a little bit, maybe at the end of today, before you go sleep, reserve 5 minutes of your time, maybe less than 5 minutes, and think through your day, your actions. Did I did something that threatening my neighbor's happiness or someone's peace of mind? Did I did something? Did I say something? Did I not did something that could give them happiness? Take notes. Say to yourself, tomorrow I will try to do differently. If I could say something and I didn't say today, tomorrow I will try. And see how that goes tomorrow. Maybe you have something good to take notes. Say, oh, today I did something. And I have more opportunities here, right? And trying to see your limit. Because we need to know that facing the difficulties, because the limits will also give us a pretty good understanding about ourselves. So, equally in the face of pain is a sublime provision by God who wishes that all his children, taught by common experience, would not commit evil allegiance, ignorance of its effect. So, sorry, evil alleging ignorance of its effect. So, the Spirit explained the pain is for all of us. The pain is the same. It means we all will suffer the same results of doing wrong things. This is a wisdom from God that can give us the same perspective, right? We are all equal as a human beings. Small or great, ignorant or educated, we all will suffer the same reasons. So this is a great way for us to understand the importance of doing good. Same criterion for all of us. But what's happened also in the opposite side is that, and it is explaining here as well, there is no limit for the good. The good and the good results in our life are infinitely more variety in its expressions. Like what we do wrong provide the same kind of pain. But what we do good, and there is an infinite way to do it, will give us very diverse results. Depends on the intention, depends on the results, depends on how we apply to our situation, and what we are doing with that can give us a good outcome in our life. Third is the practical summary of all moral speculation. It is the courage of the soul that confronts the distress of life struggles. Doesn't matter the difficulties or matter the difficulties, but I still trying to do something good. It is both strict and yielding, ready to adapt itself to diverse complications. It remains unbinding before temptations. Well, it's again, I'm dealing with self-interest. Temptations is part of that process. How strong my will is to resist on that temptation is also part of my duty, right? Persons who fulfill their duty love God more than they love other individuals, and they love others more than love themselves. Again, we learn charity as a love in action, and charity is the ability that we have to put ourselves in second uh, level, right? We put something beyond, before us. We put love before others. We put others before us. And that is the scale of charity and also the level of duty. Individuals' moral obligation towards God never cease. They should reflect the virtues of Eternal One, who does not accept an imperfect sketch because he wants the beauty of his work to be resplendent before him. Again, God make us perfect as there is a tree inside of each seed. But in his wisdom, he make the seed capable of reach its own development as we can reach our own perfection. And came from an imperfect sketch as we are, right? We are beings in human beings in development. We are in a very imperfect sketch, but we can improve ourselves to the level of perfection. Be angels, as we know, have a stellar light, but we need to work. Well, and then we have an idea to see how can we work with our hours, right? Because I'm not sure about you, right? I cannot talk about you, but I can talk about myself. And I'm really wasting hours. I have a lot of work to do. And I need to put more focus in more important things in my life. And so many of us have the same situation, right? We also transform our personal things in possessions, and that creates a lot of selfishness. And that's another thing we need to deal with superfluous, right? Possibility of consume. We are purchasing a lot of things that we don't need, and that is also draining our energy. We need to control ourselves about food, suppress excessive dishes that can lead to a well balanced life. Think about how many diseases we have just because we cannot control ourselves with food. We also have to work with our words, right? Explore the self determination against the verbal, how can I say that? Unhappy or unfortunate um, way to speak, right? Control our words is very important. Also, when we control our words, we are controlling our thoughts, right? Let's change that word. Let's not do it. Let's not say this way. Let's and not only the word that we speak, but also the way we speak, right? That's also important. Emotions, very important. Reduce the intensity or of sensitivity. So not accumulate the hurt feelings. We don't need that. Why we are getting hurt so much? It's more than what people are saying to us. Is what we are listening, the way we are doing. So let's know ourselves more and control better our emotions. It's very important, and also can avoid problems in this incarnation. And as we know, for the next one, um, we always say we need to pray, but are we doing a lot of requests to God, to ourselves, to our friends, to our family? Let's first valorate what we have. Let's be thankful, grateful for all that we have in our life, emotionally, physically, materially. For why not, right? And take care of our excess of demands. Then, are you worried right now? Worry with your life, your family, your professional, your, scary about security, salary, any other possibilities. It's all part of our life, but we need to be careful about that. Eliminate unnecessary afflictions. It's an important step that we need to take. So there is that conversation about how many problems I have. No, how many pains, how many difficulties that I have with problems that never happen, right? So let's try to be more realistic and have less worry about our situations. And change habits is very important. El- Eliminate undesirable practices, and with our possibilities gradually reduce or immediately trying to eradicate that habits that have no purpose in our lives, no, is not useful. Why I'm watching so many videos, I don't know why I'm doing this or why I'm doing that, right? Trying to keep an eye on your daily our projects in your life, your habits, and then of course change those that you think needs to be changed. And again, trying to be simple, avoid excess of adornments. We, with our consumer possibilities, sometimes we slave ourselves with external appearance, right? And that is part of our transformation. This all comes from the book Sun in Our Souls from the Spirit André Luiz. And I think they are good tips, good advice for all of us. And I'm sure need all of them in my life. So to finalize my talking today, I want to bring a quote from the book Pão Nosso from the Spirit Emmanuel from Chico Xavier. When he think about it, he trying to give us some moment of reflection, saying you will not be able to present yourself before the supreme forces of wisdom and love with achievements and victories that have no been lived and conquered by yourself. And those words are so powerful to me because I want you stop 1 minute of your life and think about yourself. Do I am getting prepared for my spiritual life? And I'm not saying you have to stop everything else, but 1 minute to think if you are accumulating victories and achievements that you can show that for our supreme, for God, right? And at the end of your life, how much of that was on focus of the self improvement towards to the application of our moral duties and in the transformation that we all have to do, and for the good or for the bad must be with our own attitude. So that is my talk for today, and I hope you have enjoyed it. And you can take this as an opportunity, as I'm taking, to think about it and trying to be more precise about the changing that we need to do, and that will be from our own work. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to answer or work with any comments that we may have. It's really nice.
Well, thank you, Rod, for your presentation and reflections on this topic. I'm really glad that I was able to host this meeting today because I really like this parable. And I was just thinking how our journey is not linear, right? So we are always in the process of understanding and putting to practice. But I was also thinking that whenever we have that knowledge, we will be held accountable for it, right? So we have the responsibility to not only understand and seek instruction, but also put into practice and see the transformation in our lives and in the lives that are surrounding us, right? So
That's great. Exactly.
that's definitely a good food for the thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So we had some comments and questions. Let me pick one here for us. So the first one is from Alan, and he is asking, if we have he comments, but it is the question as well. If we have spent many years being hard or thorny soil, what is the best way for us to break it up to become good soil for the seeds of the gospel? And he complements saying, also, what is the best way to help others, like family, to become good soil as well?
Wow. Thank you, Alan. Great question. Yes, I think all of us, it's under the same situation of being a hard soil, right, for a long time. But the way we can break that and transform ourselves is very similar to the soil itself. It's a daily work, right? And the agriculture show us that it's not possible to transform the soil suddenly, right? It's a long term for work, seasons and seasons of work. The same thing with us. We need to observe ourselves, apply that knowledge in our daily lives, then we can slowly but surely transform ourselves into hard soil to a fruitful one. And that is our own work. And the way you say, Larissa, I really like that, because we cannot control now what we are because we came from many difficulties from before, but we can absolutely control the consequences
Mm-hmm.
and being accountable for that, right? We know we have control for what's coming,
Mm-hmm.
and that soil, that new soil that we want to be, is part of our work today. Because then it's the same as any, right? We need to plant in the right season to receive the fruits later,
Yeah.
right? And the same thing, we are planting now to later see the fruits come.
Mm-hmm. It's always time to start, right?
Always,
Never too
exactly.
late.
Never too late. Yeah.
We have another one from our friend Publio, and he says, sometimes I think to myself that I'm a good seed and I will produce 100 to 1. But sometimes I feel I am a seed with no soil to grow and produce. Where and what is the guideline to be a good seed? And he complements saying, I mean, when do I know I'm in the right direction? Good Christian.
Great question, Publio. Yes. Jesus said, we know the tree by the fruits, right? And we can understand if you're being a good seed according to the results that we have. And we can see that closely in our home, how people are seeing ourselves, our attitude, how that can be, how they are being held for them, and in our daily lives, the way we feel about it. And of course, we have per se, a formula of growing those. It's the gospel according to Spiritism. If your attitude it's connect to those teachings, for sure we are in the right path. Absolutely. At least I cannot tell, I cannot say for Publio, right? I can tell to myself, I'm not there yet, because I love the teachings. I'm trying to learn from it, but it's a long process for transformation. And maybe Publio is in a better shape than I am, but we are all can see the results through the knowledge of Jesus' teachings and the application in our life.
For sure. And we also have one comment from our friend Rodrigo. And he says, when you point your finger at someone, pay attention that you have three fingers pointing at yourself, right? So
Yeah,
when you were speaking about it's easy to see in the others the changes that needs to be done, but then we can't actually see in ourselves. So yeah, that's for sure. We are always kind of judging other people, but we forget that we are being judged as well, right?
yeah, and psychologically, they say it's much easier for us to see problems when we have that. Right? It's easy for me to see the problems in others when I have that problem myself.
Yes, it's a
And
reflection, right?
exactly, and we need to be aware about that. We need to say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I have that. Should I change myself first, then later point fingers? Absolutely.
Okay, so thank you so much once again for this reflection and this talk. Thank you all for the participation in the chat as well.
Thank you.
And now we will be moving on to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. So what is PAS? PAS is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. PASs help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from PASs, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the PAS, the water that you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. We will now make a prayer in preparation for the PAS, which will be our closing prayer as well. So I invite everyone to join me in this prayer. Let's close our eyes, calm our hearts, and mentalize our Master Jesus and the friendly spirits that are here with us tonight. Master Jesus, we thank you for this opportunity to learn more about Spiritism and your teachings. We ask that you help us in our spiritual journey. May we be able to apply your teachings of love and charity in all areas of our life. And may our heart be a good soil where your word will be able to create roots and bear fruits. We also would like to put into our hands everyone that are currently in our prayer book, incarnate or discarnate. May each one of them receive your love and peace vibrations in their hearts. And may you assist them in whatever they are needing right now. We also would like to ask for your protection for the week that we still have ahead, and we trust that you will be with us today and always. So be it. Oops.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The path begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Concafres Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from Spiritism Canada and Spiritist Group Paths of Light. Have a good night.
Jesus Christ. Let us preach the peace, let us preach the love, and this world already wonderful will be much more. Get up, look at the sky, in the earth where the flowers bloom with sunshine. Let's hold our hands and be together on this road. Then we take peace and love and spread it to the world.